Now that all the business at hand is done, I'd like to raise a point of order, specifically to address the recent election of Vice President of Council. I raise this point of order to address the issues of the failed elections of the Majority Leader of Vice President of Council. The fact that the ORC, which is the Ohio Revised Code, requires at least the majority of the members present at the meeting where an action was taken, which in this case was 12 members, and 12 members is 7. My point of order is based on the Ohio Revised Code 731.17b. I raise this issue based on state law, or the Ohio Revised Code, and it's under passages of ordinances and resolutions. And under that, B says action by a legislative authority not required by law to be by ordinance or resolution may be taken by a motion approved by at least the majority vote of members present at the meeting when the action was taken. And that was effective date 11/19/1975. During that time, during that last meeting, Member Hart's abstention means only one thing, that he was present. Therefore, 12 members were present at the meeting where the action was taken, and therefore neither candidate was elected. Because by 731.17, a majority vote of members present at the meeting, as opposed to the term present and voting, was not achieved. And the Ohio Revised Code would say present and voting, then Member Hart's abstention would be meaningless and there would be no issue. Morris got 6 of the 11, which is a majority, but Hart was present. And so 7, the number is needed to win the election. The President of Council raised an issue that because I did not appeal the decision when the fraction occurred, then I failed in my attempt to challenge or correct the violation of the rules and the law. However, under Robert Rules of Order, newly revised 10th edition, page 244, it states that the only time a point in order can be raised after the time of infraction is when a violation of applicable procedural rules prescribed by local, state, and federal rule continues to exist. And in this case, the Rule 731.17b of the Ohio Revised Code is valid, which supersedes or preempts our local law, and our local Rule 24C is also in violation. And Member Morris is continued to serve in the capacity of Majority Leader. It would be a continuing breach of our rules, as no Majority Leader was elected by the majority of members of Council present at the time the vote was taken, which is clearly 7 votes. Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised 10th edition, page 22, and that rule, it states under C, any action has been taken in violation and applicable to procedural rules prescribed by federal, state, and law. So therefore, I can raise the issue or appeal at any given time based on Robert's Rules of Order and based on the Revised Code 731.17b. It seems to me that this approach is a breach of continuing nature. The Office of Majority Leader not having the elected compliance of Revised Code 731.17b, which requires at least the majority of the members present, which in this case is 7. So I'm asking you, and I'm bringing this forward once again, because there was no person, myself nor Morris, elected to this body by 7. That means we currently do not have a Majority Leader. And this is not an attempt to win over this election. Even when winning this argument, for lack of a better term, I still won't have 7 votes. This body needs to elect a person that has 7 votes. If we allow this to continue, what will happen? I believe that we'll have grave concerns later. I believe they're going to have repercussions as a result of us not doing the right thing. So I believe that we need to hold an executive session, or not even executive session. I believe that we have a special session that is separate from our regular council business. And let's go and let's work this out together. I think there's 12 members. I spoke with Member Morris, and I think we can do this collectively with the 12 of us to sit down, the 12 of us to sit down and work this out in a separate meeting outside of the council meeting. So with that being said, Member Morris, the point of order still stands as this, and I wanted it on record.
Okay, thank you, Member West. Under direction of the law department, I can either approve or deny your point of order, which naturally I will deny it based on the fact that the law department is currently doing a research and continuing to look into this matter. On a more personal note, yes, I agree. I think it would behoove us to sit down and have these conversations to get this issue behind us, and so we can all move forward. So as the chair, I will deny the request on the point of order.
Mr. President, I'd like to appeal the decision of the chair.
Yes.
Member West, you are, I assume, making that appeal of the decision of the chair under Rule 42. And under that rule, it reads an appeal may be made from any decision, but it must be made immediately after the ruling which you are making. And B, it requires a second. If it is seconded, then the presiding officer shall clearly state the question, and he may or may not state his or her reasons for the decision. The question being, shall the decision of the chair be sustained? So, if there is a second, then the chair is required to either state the reason or not. And if there is a second, then there's a vote. And it takes a majority vote of those present to sustain the chair.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Member West, explanation. As my grandfather said, silence cannot be misquoted. So therefore, I will not give you an explanation, just denied by the chair.
At this point, then, the question before the body is, shall the decision of the chair be sustained? That's what you're about to vote on under Rule 42B, second paragraph. The question is, shall the decision of the chair be sustained? This question is voted upon to determine whether the decision of the chair shall be sustained. A majority vote of those present is required to sustain the chair. The president of council may vote to break the tie vote. The president's not here tonight, so if there's a tie, the motion goes.
And if I could ask a point of clarification, is the point of order that was raised by Member West to remove Frank as majority leader of this body?
Well, the point of order is to, at this current point in time, we do not have a majority. We do not have a majority leader based on Ohio Revised Code 731.17b.
So what's the point of order?
That we currently do not have a president, majority leader. And therefore, it's not removing him, it's just there's not currently one. And recognizing that fact.
I'm not sure if I'm mistaken, but I'm not sure that's a point of order, Law Director Martuccio. Am I wrong about that?
Actually, Mr. President, Member Mack, I'm looking at Rule 50, called violation of council rules. I'm looking at if a member, by virtue of his or her conduct or speech, violates any rules, the presiding officer shall call the member to order. Another member may raise a point of order for the purpose of challenging the conduct or the speech of the member and call upon the presiding officer for ruling and enforcement of the rules. So it goes to conduct. When it's raised, it doesn't require a second. There is no debate. The presiding officer did listen to the explanation, as is required by Part C, Paragraph C, The presiding officer had the choice to either go in favor of it or against it. So at this point, I share your concerns, Member Mack. I think, Member West, if you are alleging in your point of order that the conduct of the presiding officer is inappropriate because, again, you don't feel...
No. Let me restate that. The point of order is in reference to the violation that continues to exist week after week. And that's a violation of our applicable procedural rules prescribed by local, state, and federal rules. And therefore, based on the Robert's Rules of Order and the Ohio Revised Code, it appears that because that action has taken, I can appeal the decision and I can do a point of order and correct the problem. And the problem currently is that we did not elect a majority leader by the vote by the Ohio Revised Code 731.170.
Member West, Mr. President, Member Mack, if I can, I think, please help me, Member West. I think the issue you're alleging is that there is a continuing violation of our local rules of council.
And the Ohio Revised Code.
In terms of the revised code, I would ask you all to yield to the research that we're conducting right now. Again, as I mentioned before, I believe that the presiding officer on the meeting of January 6th, President of Council, was within his ability to make some rulings on how the meeting should proceed. Your point of order now, though, is that you believe there's a continuing violation despite that ruling, and you are saying that that is the conduct you are appealing as a point of order. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So the question before you as a council is there a violation is there an ongoing violation of council's rules and procedure? Is there an ongoing violation of council's rules and procedure which has resulted in misconduct? The chair has heard it, has considered it, and stated that the chair believed that there was not, denied that vote. There was a motion and a second, so as I understand it, the issue before you then, based on the allegation of point of order, is now back under Rule 42, appealing the decision of the chair. So I believe the vote in front of you is shall the decision of the chair, that is Mr. Morris's decision, be sustained. If you vote yes, you're saying you agree with Mr. Morris's decision to deny the point of order for his earlier stated reasons, that it's being researched, I believe you stated on the record, and it's part of the ongoing question.
Mr. President, I think, for the record, I'm going to raise the point of order as the use of the point of order rule in this matter.
Mr. President.
It clearly doesn't apply in this circumstance. If I could make a suggestion, the night is getting late. I think Mr. West has made his point, and I think that we have other city business to move forward with.
Mr. President, there is a motion and a second.
Yes. There is. Thank you.
Mr. President, could you just repeat once again the yea and the nay vote?
Repeat the yea.
Yeah, the law director, 120.
Mr. President, members of council, what I believe the question before you is, we have to take these points of order one at a time, I think, under the Robert's Rules of Order. The initial question is this: shall the decision of the chair be sustained? In other words, shall Member Morris's decision that he just rendered be sustained? If you agree that Member Morris was correct in denying the point of order that Member West raised, if you agree it was correct to deny it for his stated reasons, again being that it's something that's subject to legal questions that have been posed and are being researched, and you don't think it's an ongoing violation, then your vote is yes. If you agree with Member Morris, then I believe your vote, I'm sorry, Member West.
Yeah,
Member West.
okay. That's all I need to
That you
explain.
think there's an ongoing violation, then your vote is no. And I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it and address the next point of order. Again, this is uncharted territory, folks. I've never had a point of order go this far in the 20 years I've attended these meetings as legal counsel, and not had two in the same evening, so bear with me as we work this.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second.
Morris,
Let me explain the vote one more time. The vote is, shall you sustain the chair, the decision of the chair? In other words, will you back up the decision that the chairperson made? That would be a yes. If you agree with Member West's point that the rules are being violated, I believe on an ongoing basis, then you vote no.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Morris,
Yay.
Smith. No. Babcock,
No.
Hart,
Yes.
Smuggler,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
West,
No.
Griffin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Doherty,
No.
Mariel,
Yes.
Mack.
Yes.
8 yeas, 4 nays, Mr. President.
The decision of the chair is sustained, and it stands.